So here we go. So let's say theoretically, Professor Philip passed my guard, and he'll start over here, and we'll replicate this because it really doesn't happen all that often because usually, one. Okay, when I am on the bottom, okay, I need to make it very uncomfortable for him to be on top, okay? How you do this is with frames, okay? These hands are your frames, okay? Number one frame is this frame here, and you see how it moves my head. He tries to control my head. The second frame is this frame, and I frame his hip, and I want to frame here, okay? Let's scoot this way, okay? So one more time, he has me in a side. So remember, I didn't just magically appear here. I got here because I got buried, okay, with several layers of dirt on top of me that I did not stop from constantly getting poured on top of me, okay? Because we started with him in the actual guard passing, okay? This hand right here, the framing of the hip is gonna determine how well you can frame the head. Your head controls that arm, and I frame him out. It can't possibly be too comfortable for him to sit here like this.
Nope.
Okay, so what was the first thing you do?
Try to move my head and to get that in my hand.
And you begin to insert the knee and recover guard. It begins to make it very uncomfortable, okay, for the person on the top. And what I'm doing is, I want to trigger reaction. So he's coming around, okay? He's gonna get around my guard. I frame the hip here, frame the head. I know he's gonna want to reach for the head. I shrug my shoulders, frame the head, frame the hip, okay? Notice, this is a frame. A frame does exactly what that beam does and that pole does. It frames the roof to create a structure, typically at 90-degree angles, okay? I'm here and I'm framing and I'm spreading his head here. I know he's gonna want to control my head here. Look, he wants to reach and control my head because side control is controlling the head. It's getting past the legs, it's controlling the hips, controlling the upper body, and ultimately you control the head. That is side control. If you're not controlling the head of the person on the bottom, you don't have side control. You just have a side position, okay? From here, he wants to reach even deeper to control my head. You see how this frame breaks down? He wants to slide his hips more to the left. See how his hips break down? Okay? And he reaches deeper and he begins to control my head. This is side control right here. And these frames have collapsed. They're not frames any longer because they are, what is it? Acute, not obtuse, because they're less than 90 degrees, okay? For me to be able to begin to engage these frames again, I have to shrug my shoulders, okay? I have to walk my hip in to frame his hip, okay? I have to walk my hip away to frame his head. And I want to begin to get up on my shoulder blades in order to make it uncomfortable for that wrist, okay? Oftentimes they'll pull that wrist out. But you understand that timing because you understand that that's what they're gonna do and you're ahead of the person on top. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna practice making frames, okay? Okay? This frame right here, back up actually, go to look. At some point, let's go to close door. At some point, they open your guard. You're like, uh-oh, he opened it first. What do? Just sit here and go like, okay? I wanna hide my underhook and I wanna get this frame ready. Because I know, you see how he's going for my head, but I'm going for his hip, okay? From here, I'm going for his head. He controls my head here, or so he thinks, okay? But these frames are spreading. I'm moving his head towards my left knee here. I am framing his hip here so that I can lift my hips up, shrug, and I can begin to stretch his arm out right here. I know he's gonna pull it out, and I make it hard for him to pull it up. And he pulls it out, and I use the C-frame, hip, shoulder, and then he comes in, and now it's an open guard. From here, I improve my position. It's not ideal, but it's a lot better than what it was. So, first frame, you frame with this kind of just below your elbow. When you say below, below means going towards the hand. You frame with this kind of back of your elbow forearm, not with your wrist. This is the weakest part. This is the weakest part of your hand, with the exception of fingers, which we really don't grab. I need a frame with this, okay? If I'm stuck out here, I gotta walk my hip in, frame, and use that frame walk out, okay? If he begins to walk his body around, this frame cannot collapse. I need to be able to walk my shoulders and I need to spread, making this uncomfortable for him. I lift my shoulders up and I crunch and I shrug to my right side. Yeah. Look, you turn away now. Because if he begins to chase you, he's gonna chase controlling the head. Okay? So we're gonna practice this right here. Making your frames, spreading and shrugging and elevating the hips. Look, this arm, I walk my hip in, I stretch this out. This hip, okay, is being framed. This hand, I walk my hip away here, shrug, and I lift my hips up, and I can feel his wrist right here. As I move his head away, I trap with my right shoulder, my right ear, my right side of the neck, my hips are up. I'm walking, and I can feel myself on his wrist, okay? I'm moving his head away. If I have his head here, see how his elbow bends? His wrist is nice and comfortable. I'm putting pressure on his wrist right here, okay? I'm feeling him pulling it out, but it's stuck. You pull it out, okay? With my hip, shoulder, we compose the guard, and I'm improving my position. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any questions?
So what if you have length against you and you can't?
We have what?
If you have length, your arm length against you, and you're just too short to get that part,
Meaning-
can you use your hand?
Okay, meaning that you're on the bottom.
And I can't. My arm is not long enough to get in their hip right here.
Well, when you say not long enough, here, come here. Okay. So I'm here. I want to do this, okay? So you're going to frame this part right here, but see how your head's on the mat right here? I want to go here, okay? This frame, yes. Now you feel that right there? Okay, yes. Now, elevate your hips and shrug your shoulder to the right and ear to the right. Move your head to the right. Yes, and trap this hand. Now from here, keep pushing my head out that way. Yes. Elevate your hip, but don't put your hand on my hip. Yes, yes, because they'll want to walk in. Yes. Align your elbow more, so it's the form. Yes, and keep stretching. Yes, right here. Okay. Stretch now with this right here. Yes, right here. That's very uncomfortable. You feel how I want to pull that out? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the more I struggle here, your left hand will get, yes, and now move your hips out. Yes, move your hips in.
Okay.
Does that kind of feel?
Yes.
The person on the top is going to want to constantly keep advancing to apply pressure in order to be able to control and get that left hand in. Your right frame spreads, and you're spreading the hip and the head. But if you notice, come on back. If you notice, your ability to frame my head is going to be completely rooted in your ability to frame my hip. Watch. Yes. Okay, so this is strong, right?
Right.
Okay, but see how I can kind of break it down? Frame my hip better with the right. Yes. And now, frame. Yes. Now you feel that? Now what I want you to do is I want you to shrug your right shoulder. Yeah, right there. Do you feel that? Now elevate your hips. Yes. This right here is very uncomfortable. So they'll want to do you feel how I can't just easily pull it out? Mm-hmm. This hand is going to aim as a C on the inside of my elbow using the C frame. So as I do this, yes, now scoot your hip out. Yes, there you go. You see how you get ahead and you have the ability to recover some kind of an open guard, which is way better than laying in side control like this or trying to do this and framing. Because this, conceptually great, but it doesn't work as well, okay? So we're gonna turn in. So you feel? Big part of jiu-jitsu, seeing it, doing it, but in between, it's feeling it. So give me in a, so she's got me in a side control here, okay? She wants to control the head, yes. Look, from here, I wanna get this elbow in here. You see how this elbow, okay, and this frame enables me, number one, to control her from walking around my head, okay? Yeah, you feel that right there? And I can now move my hips away more easily because maybe I'll get my knee in that one. I don't even have to do all that. Because this frame, the more you commit, the more they commit, the more they loosen on the opposite side of the hip, okay? But we're gonna frame both, okay? If this is caught out, okay, I'm gonna move my hip here. Now move frame here. Now I need to spread it out. I wanna walk. I'm gonna trap that arm, okay? From here, yeah. She pulls it, yes, with the hip, shoulder. She's gonna advance. Go ahead. Okay, yeah. See, that arm is the one that's gonna control my head, but I control that arm. Try to control my head. Head. Go, control the head.
Your head?
Yeah.
From here?
Oh, you gotta get past the guard. Okay. Go ahead. See how annoying that is? If you just begin to deny them the ability to control your head, you're gonna make it very difficult to be controlled inside. This is the key, because if she's down, okay, this is side control, right? This is not side control. This is okay, but here even I'm controlling the head. This is side control, this is side control. You see what I'm doing with her head? I'm controlling right there. She begins to frame, slides her hips up, right here. Yeah, lift the hip all the way up, frame my head towards the leg. Yes, yes, yeah, right there. That's no good. From here, you feel me pulling it out? Mm-hmm. You're gonna release it right there. So yes, look, on the inside of the elbow. Your left hand, see? Left hand. Oh, yes. Now scoot your hip. Oh, hip. Move the hip boys. Hip boys. You see it? You see how denying this arm to control the head gives you a lot of opening, but you gotta move the hip, shoulder, because this right here enables you to move your hips and shoulder, hip, shoulder. If they pull it back, hey, you can follow them up. Just last little exercise here. Come on. She's passing the guard. Okay. But you see how annoying that is? I'm controlling, yeah. You can see, but this is just an open guard here. Go ahead. Pass. See how annoying that is? Control that arm with the C. The C goes into the elbow pit because this is where you control. Whether they move back, you're able to go with it, okay? I'm gonna do the frames. Head, shrug, trap with the right, okay? 1, 2, 3.